All right, then let's go.
Alicia here, out for a walk with my dog Reenie. Reenie's my little scraggly Muppet. She's a Terrier Schnauzer mix, and she loves to roll in the grass. This is Sustainable Events Dog Walk, a short podcast from Positive Impact Event Consulting, where you can get a quick nugget about sustainability for your events and event business while on a walk with Alicia and her dog Reenie. Sustainability is a big project, but we'll get there together, one little step at a time. We just had a reminder of the 4 pillars of sustainability, which are environmental, social and community, personal health and well-being, and economic. So let's do another 4-pillar approach. This is an episode in which I take one topic of events and show how you can go through the mental procedure of evaluating it based on the 4 pillars of sustainability for opportunities for improvement. I'm not going to exhaustively cover everything that pertains to that subject. It's just a little mental rehearsal on how to do this evaluation with yourself routinely. And this week, let's cover something that is a more spicy one. Basically an area that is super tough on environmental sustainability, but there are still ways to make it more sustainable than the status quo and more sustainable in the other pillars. Let's talk about the 4 pillars of sustainability for name badges. Now, the natural difficulty with name badges and name tags, like for conferences or special events, is that they are inherently disposable. Even if you could compel them to be saved year on year, you can't necessarily recycle them because of the information. Not the same people are attending, trying to get people to save it themselves. It's basically just not going to work. But there are some things you can do to improve the environmental sustainability overall of this already gonna be a weak link in our chain element. So a couple things you can do if you are particularly interested in the environmental element of your name badges, and hopefully over time they will become standard practice and poor options will not be available on the market. But until then, making sure that any printable pieces are made with and on recyclable materials, that they are, for instance, not heat printed, working with a company that will help you to recycle either the badge holders or the lanyards or whatever elements are recyclable, trying to get, if you have big plastic badge holders that you're putting the name tags in, making those year agnostic so that you can reuse them, whatever comes back into the cycle, because really not that many people want this souvenir anymore. If you're routinely going to conferences, you'll pick a different souvenir at this stage, and most likely the name of the show with the year will be on the printed name portion anyway, and then you've got a pre-emptied badge going back into your return bin. And one of the keys to success for this is having very clear, accessible, and convenient return facilities starting at the halfway point of your event. I've also been seeing a lot more events erring on the side of economical environmental sustainability, of not encouraging or offering reprints or doing fines for reprints, which reduces your order up front so that you're not making as many plastic laminated badges in the first place, etc. So next, for your name badges, we have social and community sustainability, the IDEA category, inclusivity, diversity, equity, and accessibility. Come on, dog, let's walk. And you know what I'm going to say here. Not only putting it on your registration form, but making it print on your badges, people's pronouns. The reason that this inclusivity practice is important is that it allows people to self-identify in an environment that they are voluntarily going to so that they feel more comfortable to stay longer. It is in your benefit to give everyone the opportunity to want to stay around at your event longer. I would also encourage you, for accessibility, to make sure that the design of your name badges is reviewed through the lens of visibility, making sure that the colors, the fonts, and the font sizes are all such that they're worth printing and you won't have a proportion of your audience unable to read them. Less so on the printed portions and more often on the logo design portions. You want to keep an eye out for color blindness issues or just general busyness. For the pillar of personal health and well-being, I'm going to go a little bit selfish on this one and talk about allergens for your name badges. If you are buying lanyards, I would definitely love to see more people doing the cotton recyclable lanyards with low reactivity ink, low irritation ink on them. And another thing that you might consider for your badges, which might feel a little bit tangential, is keeping an eye on your design from a safety perspective, that your attendees feel like if they need a badge to be allowed in the places they're trying to go or as a security measure, that those are not very flimsy badges that are going to be lost or messed up, so that everyone who is worried about either having access to where they need to be or that the people around them are all supposed to be there, that there's clear communication and cohesion in your group, and it's not just a willy-nilly like, oh, well, that was the idea, but we're letting it slide. As with everything with inclusion and accessibility, that's not going to pertain to, the 80% of your population, but it is a good way to think about your procedures from the perspective of someone with that type of nervousness or awareness, someone trying to protect their own personal health. And then our last pillar is economic sustainability. Now, of course, when it comes to on-site badge printing or specialty badge purchasing, the likelihood that you're going to be able to use your dollar to support the local economy goes down. And so my advice on this one is think of this in terms of a voting with your dollar. Wherever possible, working with your sales rep to get the preferred materials with regards to recyclability and quality inks and printers, energy efficient printers. Basically use whatever opportunities you have to vote with your dollar for best practices and companies who are doing the effort to make your sustainability journey easier. And I think it's worth pointing out that since, like I said at the top, badging is a weak link in our sustainability opportunity system, a lot of people treat it like there's no point in going there, as opposed to optimizing within the framework we have available. And I think, obviously, based on the way I just phrased that I don't think that's the best course of action. And you have companies out there like PC Name Tag who are putting in the effort and diversifying their options and doing the research. And remember my mantra, better is better. And I know you're here because you're trying. And the expectation is not that you are perfect or that you achieve net zero or carbon neutrality, but rather that you do the best you can with the knowledge and resources that you have. So that is a whirlwind 4-pillar review for name badges. If you'd like me to follow up on any of this, please let me know. And if you have questions about event sustainability, you can contact me through the contact information in the description of the podcast. And I will be back here next week with more sustainable event tips, tricks, ideas, recommendations, and referrals. I'll catch you then. Thanks for joining me on Sustainable Events Dog Walk. I'm Alicia Druby, founder of Positive+Impact Event Consulting, and I want to help you integrate sustainability into your event business so you're ready to make every event you work on more sustainable. See you next time.